Hello viewers, welcome to Making a Difference with Meg Inspires. If you have been following this program, we've been on the Thinking Pattern series and I'm going to wrap it up today with the shared thinking. We've talked about the big picture thinking. We've talked about creative thinking. We've talked about exploring possibility thinking. We've talked about how to utilize strategic thinking. We've talked about learning from reflective thinking. We've talked about realistic thinking. And today, we're going to be looking at shared thinking. Now, this is where I will bring this series to a close. This is not the least, but this is going to be the last. And I will put up a link after this video. I'm going to put up a link to my blog where you would have access to the materials, the resources for the series that we will be completing today. And if you have been following through, I want to believe that you've been able to schedule a thinking time. I want to believe that you are intentional about your thinking, because thinking is hard work and it shouldn't just be done randomly. It should be organized. It should be scheduled. We said set a time, set a place, keep away distractions. So I will not take so much of your time today. I'm just going to go straight into what I have for you today, and I will be very brief for today. So I said today we are going to be looking at the benefits that you can have from shared thinking. Now, shared thinking is searching the minds of others to think, right? And it has compounding results. So you're not just doing a solo thinking, you are collaborating with other good thinkers. All right, you're searching through their minds to think, and the result for this kind of thinking is compounding. Yes. It is said that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with others. So that is where this kind of thinking comes in. Organizations, they do a lot of shared thinking when they're recruiting. They're recruiting good thinkers, that can bring something to the table. Today in church, my pastor, Reverend Ntia, talked about excellence as one of the keys that can lead to increase. And one of the things that he mentioned while preaching was you should be open to other people's ideas, all right? You should be comfortable to listen to other people's ideas, because we don't all know it all, okay? So if you want to go far in that project, that endeavor, then you've got to collaborate with other good thinkers. You don't do solo thinking, you go with shared thinking. So shared thinking is faster than solo thinking. I just explained that. We live in a truly, fast-paced world. And if you must keep up with the pace, the rate at which it's going, then you must be ready. You cannot afford to sit back and want to think alone. You must be ready to go with to collaborate with other good thinkers. So that is where you will be able to harvest the benefits of this kind of thinking pattern. Now, if you were just seeing this video for the very first time, we have been on the thinking pattern series. We said if you want to make a difference in your world, you've got to change the way you think. So we started with this series of, looking at different thinking patterns, and I already ran through the list of the different thinking patterns that we've treated in the past weekends, and for today we are looking at the shared thinking pattern. And I say if you want to go far, you chose the shared thinking pattern. All right, so shared thinking pattern is more innovative than the solo thinking pattern, because innovation comes as a result of collaboration. Nobody stands alone, starts a project and completes it alone. So shared thinking is more innovative than solo thinking. Another point I need you to note is that shared thinking breeds maturity. You need to be able to hook up with someone who has the experience that you don't have. Now remember that in one of my videos, I said success will always leave clues. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel, you just need to hook up with what another person has done. You just need to research. You just need to find out the clues. You just need to maybe send out the questionnaire or do some research from other people's work, other people that have gone ahead of you. Whatever you're trying to embark upon, someone else has traveled that journey before. So shared thinking breeds maturity. You may be trying to embark on something that you don't have any experience, but the people that have that are experienced in that line. So all you need to do is locate these people and hook up with them. It makes it more easier than you trying to get the experience yourself to be able to carry out the task or the project. So hook up with someone who has experience if you have none, and together you guys will be able to bring something to the table. Okay, so shared thinking returns greater value. That's another point I need you to note. Still under breeding maturity, it returns greater value than solo thinking. It yields a higher rate of return. In the definition of shared thinking, which I gave to you, we already mentioned that you can achieve compounding results from shared thinking. So the results are enormous. They're compounding, because you're not just the only one doing your thinking. So I have a good idea. I have another person that is also a good thinker. Maybe we are 4 or 5, and we all bring our ideas to the table, and we are able to come up with something, and then we take off with that. So you discover that instead of my good idea, which is a solo idea producing a result, we now have 5 good thinkers on the table with different good ideas on how to go about the project. So the result becomes compounding. So if you want to go far, then you've got to choose the solo thinking pattern. The shared thinking pattern, not the solo thinking pattern. Now, how do you encourage participation of shared thinking? I'm going to quickly run through that list. Number 1, you value the ideas of others. Now, have you noticed that you only tend to value the ideas of people you like? If the people that don't impress you, you probably won't even listen to them because you think they have nothing to offer. So if you must encourage participation of shared thinking, you must learn to value the ideas of others. You spend time with them, you listen to them, you offer help where needed, you are influenced by them, and you respect them. Because the truth is, anybody you don't respect, you probably will never value his or her idea. Okay, so you interact with them. Value interactive process. Now, interactive process is a process that, you know, that is important when it comes to shared thinking, where you guys have like a round table discussion, and you're surrounded with good thinkers, and you interact. So I have something to bring to the table, the next person has something to bring to the table. You make it interactive, because that's through that process of interaction, you will be able to pen down ideas, suggestions, you know, from the different people that are participating in that process. So number 2 way of encouraging participation of shared thinking is you move away from competition to cooperation. You're not competing with anybody. You're not putting yourself in front of every other person. Every discussion is not about you. It's about how the team can move forward. It's about how the project can move forward. It could be a department, it could be an organization, it could be a group, you know, whatever it is. If you really want to encourage this type of thinking, you don't put yourself in front of other people, okay? You put the team in front. So you move away from competing. You don't pick anybody on the table to be your competitor, okay? Rather you have that spirit of cooperation. You cooperate together. You bring your input, and every other person on the table brings his or her input, and together you move forward. Number 3, you have an agenda whenever you meet. Please don't ever go to the table without an agenda. An agenda will give you a direction of how the interactive process will look like. Number 4, get the right people around the table. You don't just want to pick anybody. We're talking about good thinkers here. You're not going to bring people that will cause problems. You're not going to bring people that will want to compete with the team. So you must ensure that the people you're surrounded with, the people you take to the table for this kind of shared thinking, whether it's an organization or it's your board of directors or it's partners, your business partners, they must be the right people, the people that have something to offer. And number 5, which is the last for this video, but not the least, is you must learn to compensate good thinkers and collaborators well. You want to keep drinking from that source, you must learn to appreciate them. You want to keep tapping from that mine, you have to learn to compensate them well. All right? Because this will always bring out that team spirit in them. So I'm going to end. I already told you today is going to be very brief. So I'm going to end this session by running through, you know, how you can develop a thinking pattern. We've talked about different types of thinking, and I'm sure some people are asking questions. So how do I think? Do I just sit down and you know, just start thinking? Think on paper. I already said it in several videos that you must create time. You must schedule a thinking time and also have a thinking place, so you can keep distractions away. So now, how do you start? Someone is asking, how do I start? I already said we are wired with the necessary tools. One of my videos, I said that we are walkmen and we are wired by God to think. And only good thinkers can solve problems. You want to make a difference? You want to leave a mark, you know, in your society? Then you've got to be ready to solve problems. And you cannot solve problems when you don't know how to think. Even the problems you have, it starts with you, first of all, changing your mentality, your thinking pattern. That's why we embarked on this journey, and we are here today. All right? So learn to think on paper. But guess what? It doesn't just stop, you know, it doesn't stop by you thinking on paper. You've got to move on from that point of thinking on paper to the implementation phase. And the reason why we took these different types of thinking, we said at different phases of solving the problems, this different thinking patterns will come to play. Is it the creative thinking? Is it the reflective thinking? Is it the realistic thinking? Is it the big picture thinking? Please, if you haven't seen those videos, I ask you to go back and listen to those videos, and you will hear what we said about these different types of thinking. Is it the possibility thinking? And today we are just concluding with the shared thinking. Now, this is not the last type of thinking. There's the popular thinking, which you question it. You don't have to join the bandwagon. Now, for the popular thinking, they say, oh, this is how this is normally done. But because you want to be exceptional and you want to stand out and you want to make a difference, you don't go with the crowd. All right? So I will have all of that on my blog, and I'll send the link for you to see. But we're going to end today with the shared thinking, which I've already talked about. This is you using the minds of others to think, and for you to be able to achieve compounding results. And then I said for you to be able to participate in this, to encourage participation in this kind of thinking, the shared thinking, you must learn to value ideas from others. You must engage in interactive, processes, as in value interactive process. You must move away from competition to cooperation. You must have an agenda whenever you are meeting. You must surround yourself with the right people. You don't want to waste your time arguing with the wrong people, people that don't have things to offer, people that cannot think. And finally, but not the least, you must learn to compensate. Good thinkers and collaborators well. And I'm going to end with this. You must learn to shape your thinking, stretch your thinking, and land your thinking. Please, if you did not hear anything, I need you to take this home. You must learn to shape your thinking. Give a structure to your thinking. You don't just think randomly. That's why I say think on paper. Get a pen and paper. Schedule a time. You can't stay in a noisy place or a rowdy place to think. It will not be coordinated. All right? So you must learn to shape your thinking. You want to organize your thinking. You want to write down, list the problems you think are challenging, the challenges you're facing, and just take them to the thinking table and place it there. You want to be able to ask the right questions, to be able to have the right answers. If you don't ask the right questions, you would never be able to have the right answers. So learn to shape your thinking. Give a structure to your thinking. Organize your thinking. Be intentional about your thinking process. You must also learn to stretch your thinking. Stretch it out of your comfort zone, all right? And finally, you must learn to land your thinking. Now, I already said to shape your thinking, you want to give a structure to it. You stretch your thinking for maximum results. All right? I said something in one of the videos. I said, you just might not be having the anticipated results because you don't take out a little time to think. You have a mind. God gave us a working mind. And the illustration I gave in my last video, I said, if you have an account with any of the banks that is not, you're not operating it, you haven't operated it, there's no transaction on that account for a while, it goes into the state of dormancy. And for you to be able to use that account, you need to reactivate it. And the reason why this program is coming to you is because we want to reactivate the tool, one of the tools we have, which is our mind. You can think. You can think your way through any problem. Remember, we said every problem is a mental problem. And if every problem is a mental problem, it requires a mental solution. So this is why you have to be very intentional about your thinking pattern, the thinking process. So you must shape your thinking. You don't do it randomly, anywhere, anyhow. You must shape your thinking. You want to get results. So you're going to your thinking table with a list of things you actually want to think through and find a solution to. So you list them, you write them down. Now I'm trying to tell someone how to think. That challenge, that problem in front of you, that obstacle that you're busy blaming somebody about, you just need to write it down, take it to your thinking table, and I bet you will leave that table with a solution to that problem. If you watched the previous videos for this program, we've talked about how to analyze the problem. You need to be able to identify a problem, first of all. Then be able to analyze the problem. And then come up with possible solutions. Not one, not two. Different solutions. And then you pick the one that will best fit into solving that particular problem. This is where you land your thinking. You say, I'm thinking about something. I've been thinking about it for a while. 1 year now, you're still thinking about something. You've not landed your thinking. 2 years now, you're still thinking about something. You've not landed the thinking. You must learn to shape your thinking, stretch your thinking, and land your thinking. Very important. If you don't learn to land your thinking, then the whole process never made any sense. All right? So shape your thinking, stretch your thinking, land your thinking. Now, this will help you build mental stamina. It will help you build tenacity. It will help you build resilience. When you stretch your thinking, you're stretching out of your comfort zone. The problem is still staring at you because you're comfortable with it. The moment you wake up and say, no, I know there's a solution to this problem and I'm going to think and come up with it. It could be you are going to be using the creative, pattern of thinking. It could be you have to use a strategic pattern of thinking. It could be you have to use the shared pattern of thinking that we just talked about, because the experience you don't have, some other person has that experience. All you need to do is get the right people to the table and you'll get the answer that you need. So thank you very much for your time today. We have come to the end of the session for today. And like I said, every other information that is needed and all the thinking patterns that we've talked about in this program I will ensure that I have them on my blog, and I'll send out a link within the week for you to go there and read through. But in the meantime, if you haven't seen the video or you've seen the video, I just need you to go back with your pen and paper and your notebook, whatever you want to use, and take the notes and listen to the videos again and jot them down. Why? Because you want to shape your thinking. You want to stretch your thinking. You want to land your thinking, and you want to have a solution to that problem. So God bless you. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will be coming your way next weekend with an interesting topic that will help you stay ahead of the storm. God bless you.